So this is the hardest one, and that is that while we're really clear on the physics and chemistry of atmospheric systems and of climate, one feature of the story that is hardest to explain are the nonlinear effects. And if you're the frog sitting in the pot, that when the temperature goes up linearly, there's a point you're going to pass out and then die and get boiled. But there's other surprises lurking in the greenhouse that we know are coming, but we can't predict. And so I used to drive my two daughters and my wife down to Los Angeles fairly often. We got in the car in San Francisco, we have a 500-mile drive, and I can't tell you whether it's at the 75-mile mark, the 100-mile mark, the 200-mile mark. Somewhere along the way, there will be tears, unless I have social media things or Skittles or whatever else to keep them. So I don't know when it's going to happen.
Right, but it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Right.
And the same thing is true of the climate story.
Right.
We have certain things like turning off the circulation of heat in the ocean.
Right.
The models say it's going to happen. They can't tell you, is it going to be Thursday in 2022 in November, but they can say it's coming. And so finding a way to communicate the really nasty surprises, the so-called high consequence, not low probability, but the high consequence events that we can't pin down when it's going to happen. And the earlier you take preventative action, the better. And those are things like melting all of the Arctic that would give us meters of sea level rise. And I mean Arctic, not just the ice in the Arctic, because of course if that melted, there's no change because it's floating. But I'm talking about the ice on Greenland as well. But there's that. There are forest fires that are so dramatic that we change the atmospheric composition. And then there's turning off the so-called thermohaline circulation, the circulation of heat in the ocean. And we unfortunately observe in the models that there's a point at which the ocean goes from this really interactive circulating system to basically a big pond.
Yeah.
And a big pond grows pond scum. We don't want to be there. So that is a very clear warning.
Do we know whether that's happened in the past?
It has not happened in the past. So turning off the ocean conveyor belt is not, and there's a famous oceanographer, Wallace Broker, who sort of laid this out very beautifully, but we can't predict when. And so integrating in a healthy enough respect for nature to not perturb it too much is one of these precautionary principles. Goes back to the medical one of first you should do no harm.
Right.
And right now, unfortunately, we are doing a lot of harm. And we've committed to some of these catastrophes. The question is, have we committed to ones that will ultimately recover, or are some of them that are coming ones where the state change happens?
Right.
And we're crying all the way to Los Angeles. So that's the
Skittles.
other element. And we need a lot more computation and a lot more validating models to put that into action.
Reading about the John Snow Club.
Learn more at predictionx.org, where you can stay up to date on all of our latest offerings and interviews.